I won't stop till I hear him say,
Listen to how much money this lady said has to be transitioned still. It's insane. Okay, what is going on, CYPRX advanced YouTubers? Welcome back to another CYPRX YouTube video breakdown. This is going to be part 2 of the previous video series. So if you haven't gone back and watched that, go check that out. And if you haven't checked out our debt crisis playlist, make sure that you go check that out as well on the CYPRX YouTube page. If you enjoy in-depth video breakdowns like this, smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if this video provides you with some type of value. We do appreciate the love and the support. And if you want a further in-depth perspective on some of the things that we cover here on this CYPRX YouTube channel, make sure that you go check us out on Rumble, a free speech platform. That link is in the description down below. So let's jump into this video breakdown. We're going to continue to talk about this banking crisis that is looming amongst the global population. I have, again, some interesting video clips here for you all today from one of my favorite YouTube channels, Kitco News. Absolutely phenomenal work that they've done in the financial markets. So sit back, relax, and enjoy these little tiny video clips, and then I'm going to give my spiel. Listen to some of the key things that this individual talks about right here. We're going to go into detail.
So, again, in the way the scenario plays out, a bank is under threat because we've got rising interest rates and the bank is failing. What would cause the bank to fail? Default on loans, for example?
Well, actually, I think what could definitely cause the bank to fail is what we have coming up in June of this year, 2023, which is that transition from Libor, that interest rate benchmark that was created in the 80s and is in every single contract out there, to, in the US, it's SOFR, but in different countries, there are a few other transitions. And the problem with SOFR, that's the one I can speak to the most because it's the one I'm most familiar with, but I'm sure this is probably pretty accurate for all of them. The interest of the SOFR is different than the interest of the Libor.
London interbank offer rate,
Thank you.
Was riddled with corruption, with manipulation. It's been running for about 40 years, and there were a number of issues with that, and hence they decided we're going to stop with Libor and move on to SOFR.
Okay, so I'll just take a pause right there, and we'll talk about what they just discussed. So Libor and SOFR, LIBOR, the London Interbank Offered Rate. If you're not too familiar with that, it is a benchmark interest rate that represents the average rate at which major global banks can borrow funds from each other in the London interbank market. Now, people that aren't too familiar with its history, it was created in the 1980s and is used as a reference rate for various financial instruments, such as adjustable rate mortgages, things like student loans and financial derivatives. However, it was widely used as a benchmark for various types of loans and financial contracts until it was revealed in 2012 that some of the banks were manipulating rates for their own benefit. Now, think about some of the things that we talk about here on the CYPRX YouTube channel, especially considering how it is that we talk about and discuss technical analysis, where we go in depth, not only in our course material for our CYPRX students, but we talk about the banks manipulating price, setting up liquidity traps. Do you think it's not possible? Again, back in 2012, they were caught manipulating rates, right, for their own benefit. Now, SOFR, or the Secured Overnight Financing Rate, is a benchmark interest rate that is used here in the United States as a reference rate for various financial instruments, again, such as adjustable rate mortgages, student loans, and then derivatives, financial derivatives, right? It is based on the cost of borrowing overnight funds that are collateralized by Treasury securities and is seen as a more robust and transparent alternative to the previously used benchmark, again, which was the London Interbank Offered Rate. So that's what these individuals are talking about right here. Now, the Bank of New York began publishing the SOFR, the Secured Overnight Financing Rate, in 2018, and it has since been adopted as the preferred benchmark by the U.S. financial industry as a replacement for Libor because of the manipulation that they were caught with in 2012. So that's what she's talking about. Now, listen to how much money. Actually, you know what? Let's just take a pause right here, okay? She mentioned June 30th, 2023, when all of this is going to happen. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to play a video clip of her saying how much money is potentially about to be shifted and how much money has failed in the past. So it says right here, this is directly from the federalreserve.gov. So you guys don't, think again that I'm just making this stuff up. Here at CYPRX, we attempt to give you guys the realest research. This is something that's not commonly talked about amongst the general public. Alongside with this whole ISO 222 migration and whatnot, think about it, right? The Federal Reserve Board on Friday adopted a final rule that implements the adjustable interest rate, Libor, Act by identifying benchmark rates based on SOFR that will replace Libor in a certain financial contract over June 30th, 2023. Now, remember, back last year, everybody was freaking about this whole ISO 222 migration, and I was telling everybody back in November, nothing was going to happen. It is a major transition for the banking institutions that could cause major financial devastation if it doesn't go according to plan. It could cause financial instability. It could cause the reputation of banks to be damaged. It could cause legal liabilities. It could cause increased operational costs for banks that fail. I mean, it's nuts what's about to happen. Like I showed you guys in the previous video breakdown, we are going through a major transition, major transition. So what do I mean by this? Like, how is this kind of interconnected with ISO 222? Well, remember, they all pushed back ISO 222 to March, May, April, June kind of time frame in 2023, right? Well, here we see June 30th, 2023, everything has to be integrated from Libor over to SOFR, right? We can see another document right here. This is from hklaw.com talking about June 30th, 23, how the London Interbank Offered Rate Libor needs to be transitioned and scheduled to transfer over to SOFR by June 30th, 2023. Now, this was an interesting PDF, all right? We also see Target 2, the CHAPS, the SIC system, SAMOS, the BOG net, okay, MEPS, CHATS, CHIPS, FedWire, all migrating over to ISO 222 in 2023. Okay, remember they pushed it back. It was in 2022. They pushed it back to now 2023. Why is this significant? Now, although Libor and SOFR are separate from ISO 222, okay, the migration of banks to the new ISO 222 standard is a process that could potentially intersect with Libor and SOFR in some cases. For example, ISO 222, again, a more in-depth perspective, a little bit of my personal spiel. It is a globally recognized standard for financial messaging that provides a common format for financial transactions. The migration to ISO 222 aims to improve the efficiency and speed and security of financial transactions by standardizing the formats and content of financial messages. And people don't understand that, right? That is a major shift that's about to happen, okay? They're transitioning, I believe, from going over here to this PDF. The, what is it off the top of my head? Numbers are such a significant thing. They're migrating from the ISO 15022 standard, right? Which was the old standard. Okay, so again, another transition. Now, the transition from Libor to SOFR, on the other hand, is a process aimed at replacing the benchmark interest rate used in many financial products with a new benchmark that is more robust and reliable. And as a part of this transition, market participants may need to modify the existing financial contracts and systems to reflect the change of the benchmark. With that being said, again, a major change is about to happen. So in some cases, the migration to ISO 222 and the transition from Libor to SOFR, which just so happens to kind of correlate, it may overlap and it may cause financial devastation or uncertainty or liabilities if it does not take place according to plan. It's all something that we as market participants in this crypto space, I'm assuming you're watching this YouTube channel because you're a crypto market participant, we need to be paying attention to. Okay, this is massive information that's being withheld from the general public, again, because the majority of individuals lack financial literacy. They don't understand financial education. They don't understand what's really happening behind the scenes, and that this major transition is about to happen. So just take a second and listen to what this lady, if you're still here, again, smash that thumbs up button. We're trying to give you guys the realist perspective of what's going on behind the scenes. Listen to how much money this lady said has to be transitioned still. It's insane.
Related by the Wall Street, then we would still just be on Libor, because never in history, never have they done this large a transition. And the most current data that I saw on that, there are $610 trillion, $610 trillion in notional value contracts that still have to transition by June 30th of this year. And when they tested it in October, I think it was 2019, with $80 trillion in contracts, it was a big fat fail. And you know that because this transition was originally supposed to happen in 2021, and they postponed it to 2023.
So why are they doing this?
Okay, so you see right there how she said that they postponed it to 2023. All at the same time, the ISO 20022 migration got postponed to 2023 in some cases. Now, here's an interesting document that came out in January from ISSA, International Security Service Association. This came out January 2023. Shout out to some of the CYPRX researchers for providing us with this PDF. Interestingly enough, one of the viewpoints that I have on this migration from ISO 15022 to ISO 222 that everybody's freaking out about is a misunderstanding. It's already happened. It's already started to take place. Specifically, I want you all to focus on where it mentions the DTCC. It says the DTCC has already adopted ISO 222, yet it's had no significant price increase on our ISO 222 compliant tokens. So again, I'm not fudding anybody. I'm just getting you all to try and do your own research a little bit farther, not just believe everything that you see on the internet. I know that you all remember last year in 2022, leading up to November of last year, all of the clickbait surrounding how there was going to be some major bull run in November of last year because of this whole ISO 222 implementation and standard and whatnot. Really understand that, okay, these numbers are significantly low right now, but major key players like the DTCC has already adopted ISO 222, yet we've seen no significant price increase. So is it really going to affect the price of our utility-driven assets? Who knows? Again, that's for the future to decide. But again, don't be manipulated into buying or selling certain assets because of information like this. Understand what's really happening and understand behind the scenes that this is a major transition that has to go smoothly for our financial economy to cooperate with each other in the future. All right. With that being said, I have one last video clip for you all from this lady, from this individual. Taking into consideration what was said here today, hopefully videos like this lead you and drive you to do your own research. Nothing that I constitute here is financial advice. With that being said, I will leave you all with this last video clip. Be cognizant, be aware, and I'll see you guys in the next video breakdown.
Is that why they're pushing to have this changed?
When you know that you are at the end and you are going to declare bankruptcy and they send you some credit cards in the mail, most people would likely just go out and load up those credit cards knowing that they never intend to pay them. These guys understand currency life cycles better than I do.
These guys
know the central bankers. So they know that they are at the end of the road because they use, the key tools that they use are interest rates to regulate the rate and speed of inflation. So where the whole world has been experiencing this very rapid and high inflation, it's because they're losing control because they're at the end. So I'm thinking, and I could be wrong, but I don't think that they're trying to keep it going. I think that they only needed to keep it going long enough to get the next system in place and controlled enough so that they remain in power, on the other side of this transition. And I hope that's not true because there are more of us than there are them.
What? I'll leave you guys with that right there. Nuts, man, nuts.
I won't stop till I hear him say,